Well, here we are again. Another year down, another 10 spots that need to be filled by my personal favorite albums from the year. Hopefully ones that are good and I got a lot of enjoyment out of, and not ones that are bad and make me want to put my head through the wall. Thankfully, the first album on this list did not make me want to do that, despite the title. Kicking things off, we have the third album from London-born, Toronto-raised underground R&B innovator, Rochelle Jordan. Now, you could tell me that this is the kind of music that could play in a Sephora or an H&M, and while I'm inclined to agree, I would argue that that style is executed especially tastefully here, which sets it apart from the other music that could easily be hit with that same detraction. Whether you're paying attention to the confident lyrics or just vibing out to her subtle yet impressive vocal dexterity, the album excels at keeping you hooked throughout its dense yet deserved longer runtime. I discovered Jordan's work through the 2 tracks that bookend the guest appearances on Kaytranada's album Timeless, and the 2 link up again here, but in addition to Kaytra, Jordan curates a stellar roster of producers for an oral history of deep house and garage music, artfully weaving in the kind of R&B that favors sleekness over style. If club music like this is dying out or waning in relevancy, I really hope that Rochelle Jordan could be one of the leaders of its revival. Gee, I wonder what other singers who happen to be British women will make the list. In a time where human connection and autonomy are at risk, Olivia Dean made one of the most human-feeling albums of this year. Like, if you don't feel anything listening to this album, then I have no choice but to run you through one of those online AI detectors. To quote Olivia herself, anyone with a heart would agree. Anyone with a heart would agree. This album has such an infectious zest for life, but it doesn't ever feel too mushy, with the lyrics and arrangements attaining an accessible yet unique and impressive level of sophistication. Even the songs towards the end of the album about moving on from love lost are still hopeful and mature. Effortless blends of neo-soul, jazz, gospel, all bolstered by Dean's impeccable and playful singing that just oozes charm. And I'm not just referring to the Clairo album, even though Leon Michaels has credits on both. Never could I have predicted when I was put onto her through songs like Dive from her last album that she would become Grammy nominated, perform on some of the biggest stages, and rightfully call out Ticketmaster for its rampant bullshit. You love to see it. The Art of Loving really got me into romanticizing the things in my life. For instance, my own melancholic solitude. If nautical nonsense be something you wish, Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Except the nonsense comes from within the brain of Quadeca, as this is a concept album about being a sailor who is going insane from being lost at sea. What really goes insane are the worldly influences that Quadeca brings in. Standout track Godstains sounds like Frank Ocean doing bossa nova. I thought you knew. Or what about Monday, the world's first Oswald type song? Wow, he really went all out with these nautical references. I love when long songs reward you for listening to them all the way through. Each one here has a steady beat that carries you forward to an unexpected change or evolution of the musical ideas presented. Flutes breeze by like a steady gale, and drums and percussion whip around like the waves of a whirlpool. This is also the most I've enjoyed Quadeca's singing voice. I mentioned in an older video that the main thing that held me back from enjoying his album Scrapyard were his vocals, but that couldn't be further from the case here. He and his guests sound excellent all over this. Even Danny Brown, who raps from the perspective of a mythical dragon, and it somehow works. You can tell I'm a normal fan of Quadeca and this album because I went through that whole segment without referencing Hivemind, KSI, or music Twitter discourse. Alright, that was a fun tangent. Back to more British women. Now, if this person is formerly known as Twigs, then what am I supposed to call her now? Eusexua is an exciting take on club-evoking music, which we've seen plenty of in the 2020s so far, but here those feelings are merged with Twigs' signature dark and atmospheric energy that makes it wholly captivating. It's kind of like if Björk did Brat. Bjat? The album explores the titular fictional emotion by expounding upon its solipsism, an invitation into Twigs' mind, and by extension the experience of Eusexua. Her ethereal vocals are offset by blood-pumping beats, and in one case a bilingual Northwest feature, which... what the hell, sure. The standard album is quite good on its own, but later in the year, Twigs also gave us a completely new project, presented as the sequel to Eusexua, but also a reissue of the original Eusexua that changes up the tracklist a bit. Twigs really gave it her all this year with a solid artistic vision and a great collection of tracks across this Eusexua era, and I have to commend her for that. You know, that's a big theme of this year's list. Like I mentioned during the Olivia Dean segment, we're living in a world full of increasing concerns around technology such as AI, especially its encroachment on the creative space, and the albums on this list are the ones that made me feel the most human in 2025. After all, this is the year that the Sun infamously predicted when women will be having more sex with robots than men. And I know I'm not a woman, but that's just crazy to me. I mean, can you believe there are people out there who would ever want to f their computer?
I wanna my computer.
Huh. I guess they do exist. Man, this is one of those albums where I'm excited that I even get to listen to it. Not just that I'm excited while listening, but I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to put it on and subsequently blast it throughout the entire New York apartment I live in. Every song goes harder than the last, and the whole thing takes me back to when I discovered dubstep and rave music for the first time, but with a refined edge to fit my more critical and urbane sensibilities. It also has an excellent flow, feeling like an original DJ set, which I particularly resonate with because, like Nina Geraci, I'm a DJ and already knew how hard this would go at parties the moment I heard it. In fact, here's 4K video footage of me playing F My Computer at a party. The album feels very much like it's born out of the internet, but I think it'll age more gracefully than some of the hyperpop that came out of the early 2020s. Rather than stuffing the album with niche references and wacky production, it speaks to the more nostalgic and human side of growing up in a technology-focused world. Whether it be Nina's own childhood experiences, or universal feelings like being exposed to adult content at too young of an age, or posting a thirst trap publicly with the hopes that one specific person will see it. A fantastic debut album. I definitely see a bright future ahead for Nina Geraci, and most importantly, is that my phone? Sorry, I gotta take this. Hello?
My name is Pink and I'm really glad to meet you.
Oh hey Pink, I see you got my invitation in the mail. Pink Pantheress just keeps getting better and better with every project that she releases. She always manages to do a lot with a little. Just look at how trim this thing is. A 20-minute mixtape of 9 songs, with one of them just being a 24-second interlude, and I enjoyed it more than most albums this year? I mean, that's just impressive. Eat your heart out, Morgan Wallen. Pink has come a long way in such a short span of time, and sounds way more self-assured than she did on 2023's Heaven Knows, which you may remember from my top 10 of that year. Her writing and production remain sharp and ridiculously catchy throughout Fancy That. And she also gets to showcase her deep love of UKG and DMV through her deep bag of samples and interpolations. Fancy That is Pink's reintroduction to pop stardom, and it can only go up from here. Okay, that's the last British woman on the list, I promise. Now we can finally move on to musicians who cameoed in one battle after another, which I guess is just this one. If you asked your partner how do you feel about getting married, and they reply with absolutely, naturally a few years later, a baby would arrive. Sorry, I was so proud of that intro that I had to use it here too. Sci-Fi 1. Dijon's music has always felt warm and inviting, and now that he's had the opportunity to work with Justin, and Justin again, and following the sudden commercial and critical success of close contemporary McGee, he had a deserving amount of attention from those who were waiting for the next step towards him capitalizing on his potential. And in many regards, Baby is where said potential is on full display. Dijon shows that he can create fiery ballads and slick jams with measured gravitas. Weaving in vintage keys and samples with a splash of distortion here and there, the sound of Baby is a bigger and more celebratory one compared to his last full length Absolutely, fitting for this being his first release as a new husband and father. I truly hope this isn't the last we hear from Dijon for another 4 years. Even if it's just in the capacity of him producing for other artists, he's got strong levels of staying power in a space where fame is more fleeting than ever if you're not lucky. Can't wait to see what he does next. Before we get to the top 3, let's go through 10 honorable mentions, starting with the most surprising one for me. Tyler made my album of the year last year and spoiled us this year with a whole new album with a completely new sound and creative direction, as he so often does. While it didn't exactly click for me as a whole, most of the songs here are excellent danceable bangers. Now for the most surprising one for you, the viewer. I did my best to succumb to the geese propaganda this year, but ultimately it didn't get me in the same way that it did to most critics, fans, and publications alike. The album's still great though, and I would recommend it if you're a fan of indie rock. This is pretty much in the video just because I didn't want to end up getting killed by the geese police. Now here's the most surprising one for my editor. I really tried to get into this album, especially since I admire Hayley's solo work, even though I prefer her albums with the rest of Paramore, but I just didn't see the vision. I did see the unique rollout for this album, with every song being its own single, but altogether I look at a track list like this the same way I look at a diner menu. Hey V, help me out here. What'd you think of this one?
I think that Hayley Williams is one of the greatest vocalists of our time, and this album's a really good example of that. I also think that the ability to make an album that has 20 songs on it and not feel bloated and also feel kind of brief is really hard to do, and she does it very well here. And I also think that the release method of the album, both the web version and the singles on streaming, was really unique and memorable and made for a really nice experience with myself and other fans. And also, you're wrong.
Awesome, thanks V. Moving right along. Of course, I have to tip my cap to one of the biggest albums of the year. A loving tribute to Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican heritage that's heartfelt and liberating. This album dropping less than a week into the year really set the bar for everything else that came after it. I can't wait for that Super Bowl performance. The Last Dinner Party came through with their second album that stands tall next to their first. Quite a feat considering the quick turnaround. If you like the artsy glam rock stylings of their first record, this one is definitely worth checking out too. Like From the Pyre, Ethel Cain's prequel to her acclaimed 2022 album Preacher's Daughter is a worthwhile listen for fans of that album's tragic narrative and lush arrangements, and for those who weren't put off by her experimental drone EP from earlier in the year. Great stuff, Miss Cain. I'm Dead as a Child. This came so close to making the list. Similarly to Fancy That, OK Lou gives a masterclass on doing a lot with a little on Choke Enough. Subtle and playful futuristic ambient electronics, and an intriguing Y2K inspired aesthetic. This is how you would keep the party going after receiving a noise complaint from the neighbors. This one also almost made the list. A fun and diverse project from hard rock outfit Turnstile that really catapulted them into the mainstream, and for good reason. Damn, I guess neither of these albums came close enough to make the main list, huh? Anyway, McKinley Dixon dropped another vivacious and concise jazz rap album, jam-packed with intricate vocal and live instrumental performances. No time is wasted on this 34-minute album. How does he keep doing it? And finally, even though this didn't make the main list, don't let that discount the fact that this is one of the most impressive albums of this year. From the orchestral arrangements to the double-digit number of languages to Rosalia's ridiculously good voice. I mean, just listen to this.
That's gonna be the energy. And then
wait a minute. That's all the honorable mentions? It didn't include them? Well, that could only mean...
A motherfucker, I been put the gat down. A motherfucker, I been put the gat down. A motherfucker, I gat down.
After gracing my honorable mentions 2 years in a row, Joey Valence and Bray have finally made the list with their third album, Hyper Youth. Like their previous work, the album may be goofy and lighthearted on the surface, with plenty of fun quotables and ear-catching production moments, but this time around the duo come with some poignant and salient messages. Embrace your inner child and dance like no one's watching. Nowhere is this message more clear than on the emotional centerpiece of the album, Live Right.
I'm kinda scared to admit I'm afraid of growing up.
This may sound contradictory, but the duo are singular in the sense that they continue to pave their own path and make wild creative choices. What other rap duo could have a dubstep drop with a fart bass at the end of a hardcore rap song? What other rap duo could pull off jokes about hanging up on Sydney Sweeney, a fortune cookie telling you that you're goated, and loving someone more than FL Studio? And what other rap duo could sample Planet Rock and turn it into a club jam? Well, okay, City Girls did that on Twerkulator, but surely these guys are the only rap duo who can make one of my top 3 favorite albums of 2025. right?
When I was born, grandmama could see it. I be Bentley driven and very strategic.
I stand corrected. I have no doubt that you've heard many positive things said about this Clips album, especially in year-end lists like this one, so I'll try not to dwell on it too much. But this right here is an artisanal hip-hop album from two greats that after a 16-year hiatus still sound villainous as hell and hungry for smoke. And coke. While it is a bummer that the Neptunes didn't also come back for this, Pharrell Williams on his own crafts some trunk-knocking beats with thick 808s, retro synths, and finely chopped samples. You can feel the chemistry and brotherly love between Push and Malice, from the standout emotional opener to the triumphant closer. In addition to their excellent performances, the guests that they brought with them all come at their A-game. Features like Tyler, Kendrick, and Nas, for example, all deliver career-defining verses. Some of, if not the hardest and coldest rap songs of the year, land on this project. So Be It, FICO, Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, all prove that this was well worth the hype and anticipation.
So be it, so be it.
This is culturally inappropriate.
To summarize, Unk still got it. And that puts us at number 1, the album I enjoyed the most in 2025. And I just realized we haven't been using audio clips to tease the next album on this list, like we've done in previous years. Can we get that Legend of Zelda fanfare up in here? Actually, can we get a different video game sound?
Change service.
Not that one. Not that one. Not this one. Oh, wait. Oh, I like this one. Can we hear that a few more times? Jane Remover is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to innovating in the underground and being a jack of all trades, leveling up their sound on each album and expanding their musical genre mastery and fluidity even further with side projects like Venturing and Leroy. It's no secret that Jane is in a lane of their own. Their newest full-length Revenge Seekers boldly fuses the ever-popular rage music with electropop, two subgenres that have taken over the internet in the 2020s. But Jane takes it a step further by infusing them with the kind of digicore they're known for, but hadn't really dabbled in for a while due to their unexpected yet intriguing pivots into shoegaze and glitch pop. What I'm trying to get at here is Jane contains multitudes, and Revenge Seekers is a deep dive into the many sides of themselves, a journey laden with self-consciousness, catharsis, anxious avoidance, and everything else that comes with trying to figure yourself out in the public eye.
I think they follow me home. Fuck what you heard. You wanna take what I own. Bitches getting vibe.
The maximalist sound reflects their inner turmoil, and it all comes together in this cacophonous chaos that I slurped right up as soon as it came out, and I can't get enough of it now. Which is why it is my album of the year for 2025.
If my grave is kept clean, full circle again.
And shout out to Palkia, I really hope that guy got his royalties. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think of my picks, or drop your favorite albums of the year in the comments. There are plenty of amazing songs and albums that I didn't talk about in this video, but I still listened to and loved. So I'll also link to a playlist of my favorite music of the year in the description. Special thank you to V for editing this video and dropping her thoughts on the Hayley Williams album. Her linktree will also be in the description. Stay tuned for more videos in the new year, and subscribe for more music discussion.